Hi guys, today we are doing something that I've been really excited to do for a long while, and that is not shaving a mustache, but rather comparing the two mirrorless cameras that are capable of shooting raw video, and that is the Nikon Z6 that I'm filming on right now, shooting Apple ProRes Raw over HDMI to the Atomos Ninja 5 and the Sigma FP that records CinemaDNG either internally or to external hard drives via USB-C. So without further ado, the raw video showdown. Here we go. Before we dive into the actual result itself, I just want to address two things really quickly. And number one is that I own both these cameras. I've paid for them out of my own pocket, so there are absolutely no biases at all. And number two, I just wanted to do a quick rundown of how I conducted this test. And I used the base ISO of both cameras, which is ISO 100. I've shot them at an aperture of 2.8 and a shutter angle of 180 degrees. They are white balanced to 56K, both in camera and then later in post. I have color corrected them to be as neutral as I could get them using my video passport and the method linked in the description below. So if you found this video helpful, do consider subscribing to my channel. That would really help me out a lot, and you will also find more tests of both the Sigma FP and the Nikon Z6 when I use them in the field in real projects in the future. But without further delay, here are the actual test results. Here we go. So guys, I just wanted to show you quickly how I do my Apple ProRes Raw conversion. So I hit standard here. A lot of people say that you should go with wide gamut HDR, but I think standard works just fine. I've already converted these clips to S-Log3, which is the proper way to go, but watch if I do the other method that are suggested by some famous YouTubers. You can see sort of the weirdness that's happening in the blue on the left side of the screen behind my face. Now watch when I go back and instead use the raw to log conversion. I hit S-Log3 Cine and boom, that blue looks much better as a starting point. Then I select the clips I want, I hit share, and they will be exported as individual clips. If you want to retain that 12-bit signal, I suggest you go with ProRes 444, hit share, and Bob's your uncle. So let's have a quick look at the CinemaDNG workflow, and there are two ways to do it. You can either do it the fast way in Resolve, which gives you a fair amount of control over your RAW files, but the better way to do it is jumping into Adobe Camera Raw and doing your conversion here. I'll just set my white balance to what it was shot in. And what I found was interesting here was that I didn't need to push my image as much as I did in Resolve for some reason. And when you do your conversion in Adobe Camera Raw, you also get the added benefit of having lens correction profiles. So I save out this as a preset. Then we simply head over to After Effects. We make a new composition, make sure that we have a 4K composition and that it is in the appropriate frame rate for our footage. We then import our footage, navigate over to the sequence that we want to render, make sure that Camera Raw sequence is selected and hit OK. Then we load up our preset that we made before in Camera Raw. Make sure that our sequence is interpreted as a 24p sequence. Here I can see that it's set to 30, so I'll change that really quickly. Hit OK. And then we add it to our render queue and make sure that we export it in a color grade friendly format like QuickTime and Apple ProRes Raw 444. So we retain our 12-bit signal. Hit OK. And then export it, save it down to where we want it to go, and that is it. So what do you think? I'm genuinely curious to hear you guys' thoughts, so do leave some comments down below. But my personal takeaway from this test is as follows. And number one, I was baffled by how much better the ProRes Raw did with the blues up here than the 10-bit analog. I've had a lot of issues with that in the past, and I'm glad to see that that is now resolved. And also I was pretty blown away by the difference in result that you get from converting the CinemaDNG from the Sigma FP in Resolve or using the Adobe Camera Raw and then After Effects method. The other thing that I was really surprised by was that even though they used the same base ISO and I had all the same settings, the Z6 came out almost overexposed even when I took the highlights down in Final Cut. And on the other end of the spectrum, the Sigma FP was underexposed, and again this is also kind of weird. It was underexposed by almost a full stop if I did the conversion in Resolve, but only half a stop when I've did the raw conversion in Adobe Camera Raw. That surprised me quite a bit. So let's just take a quick look at the workflow side, and unfortunately on the Nikon side it's a bit like building a Lego set, but you only have the picture of the like finished Lego and not the entire manual. That's like how I feel. I can get there, but there's no real formal explanation either from Atomos or Nikon or Apple on how to actually do it, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. Now I've conducted several thorough tests and I found that the raw to log conversion is the best way to go, and then to do the final grade and log conversion in Resolve. But that's just me. That's what I found that worked best in my situation and my workflow. Like your mileage may very well vary. But also, all things considered, since I own both cameras and when I want to shoot raw, I will probably shoot at least for now, until there are more NLEs than just Final Cut supporting Apple ProRes RAW, or at least of the like major well adopted ones, I will probably shoot mostly on the Sigma FP, and that's mainly for two reasons. I feel that I have a lot more control with the RAW files that I actually get, and there is an established workflow there, and I can choose to either do the fast way in Resolve, or if I'm doing really high-end stuff, I can do the painfully slow but very accurate conversion in Adobe Camera Raw and After Effects. But I do think that the ProRes RAW is a really exciting format, since the data rates you get are, the differences are negligible compared to regular ProRes, and I get 12-bit instead of 10-bit, and that is a huge difference, as you've seen in the test. So that is it for now, guys. That's all I really have to say about this comparison. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you know what to do. Subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.